Hi guys, welcome back to 30 Days to Your First Website Design, a Tuts Plus premium course. My name is Ian Yates and today we're going to quickly look at planning. We're going to start by asking a simple question. What is web design? Well, the answer is easy, isn't it? Web design is pouring the internet for inspiration and then opening a graphics application like Photoshop or Fireworks, designing something pretty and then building it for a web browser, correct? No, of course it isn't. Web design is this. It's an iceberg. See, there's a little penguin there just to prove it. Now this, what you're looking at here, is the tip of the iceberg, and that's what we've just discussed. This is the fun bit in many people's eyes. It's the HTML and the CSS. The tip of the iceberg is the building of the website. As you'll have probably gathered from this brilliant metaphor, there's a great deal of the process hidden under the surface. And there it is. Now that is your planning. Web design is planning. It's about knowing your choices and making decisions. Get those right and you'll have to spend relatively little time buried in graphics and code. Now it's important to realize there's very little right or wrong in web design. Obvious extremes there being the exception, but there's a great deal of reaction and opinion, and that in a sense is where right and wrong comes from. It's people's opinions which dictate how they deal with your site and ultimately therefore its success. Now when you're designing a website, you're going to be catering for several parties. There's yourself, the designer. There's more than likely going to be a client whose business interests you're representing. And then ultimately there's the ever important end user. Now each of these three have different motives and desires, and it's your job to see that everybody's content with the final result. And that can be awkward, but planning properly will make the process as easy as possible. Now during this series we're going to be building a website. It's going to be for a fictional corporate website. So everything that we look at in terms of theory, we're now going to be looking at in relation to that site. So the important thing to take away from this first section is that planning is crucial. Plan big, execute small, as this brilliant diagram demonstrates. It's a pie. Well, it was supposed to be a pie. It looks a bit more like cheese, but you get the idea. Now while you're planning, you're going to need to get to know your website. So ask yourself questions. Questions like, what are the site's goals? Now in our case, for our fictional corporate website, we're building a site on behalf of a small business, a business who wants people to understand what it does and to ultimately employ its services. That's going to be our main goal. Now who's going to be using the site? Again, in our case, clients, existing clients, new clients and prospective clients, people who will potentially be employing the services of our fictitious company. So what do we expect of these people when they visit the site? At the very least, we want them to go away with the brand firmly embedded in their brains. Perhaps they'll take the message elsewhere and tell someone else about the company. Ideally, we want users to visit the site, get full awareness of what the company is, what it does, and then directly get in touch. So what could potentially get in the way of that? Well, this is a huge topic in itself. But in our case, anything which is going to prevent the user from understanding the site, from understanding the company, anything which is going to distract them and send them elsewhere, or worse, anything which presents the company in a negative light, those are going to be our problems. Those could get in the way of us reaching our goals with this website. Now, in order to properly get an accurate answer to these answers, you're going to need to research properly. But remember to stay flexible. Things change, and you're going to be using a lot of educated assumptions. Now, it doesn't matter how you plan. It doesn't matter whether you're going to use elaborate flowcharts, whether you're a fan of sketching in a Moleskine book, or whether you're going to be planning using lipstick on the mirror of the ladies' toilets in a restaurant. Doesn't matter. Get your ideas and your concepts clear and the build time will be reduced dramatically. Now, for further reading, I can highly recommend you visit Web Design Tuts. Brilliant site, and I'm going to be sending you back there a great deal during this series, because there's an awful lot of content which is going to be backing up pretty much everything I talk about. And this particular article is by Brandon, the former editor. It's called Planning Ahead, Ways to Improve Your Web Design Workflow, and it touches upon quite a number of the things that we've just discussed now. Now, we're going to look deeper into planning during the next few sections of this series. Next time, on 30 Days to Your First Website Design, we're going to cover usability. This is Ian Yates, and from all of us here at Tuts Plus, thank you very much for listening.